Hey folks, it's Mark here from Pacific Toyota, and today I want to run you through the Hilux GR Sport. Now, I specifically want to compare it to the Hilux Rogue. I personally daily drive a Rogue, and I want to see what the differences are. I want to see the suspension differences, I want to see if that 10% power makes a difference, and I want to see what the interior brings. On the outside, you can see there's some big changes, and I want to run through some tiny little tidbits that you may not have heard before, but Toyota have spent the time to design and engineer to make this car really something special. Let's get into it. To start with, the front end is where the biggest visual changes happen between the Rogue to the GR Hilux. Now up the front, you actually may not know this, but the mesh grille is actually a G mesh grille. So those little cells in there actually symbolize the G of the GR Hilux. Something I haven't heard too many people talk about, and it's unique to the GR Hilux, is in front of the front wheels is two aero spats. Now they're designed to push wind around the front wheels to help with aerodynamics and performance. Now these are user removable, so if you are doing some heavier off-roading and you need to clear out the front of the wheel, you can unbolt these before you go and then bolt them back on at a later date. Staying at the front of the vehicle and in the bumper, you'll actually see these new little air curtains put in either side of the vehicle, and they're designed to direct the wind in a way to reduce further wind drag. Between the two aerospats, you'll actually see the skid plate. Now the skid plate was actually designed and built in Australia for Australian conditions, really protecting your front end. Moving down the side of the vehicle here, you'll actually see these side steps. Now you might be thinking they look a little small, but that's because they're rock rails. They're designed that when you're doing off-roading, if your car is to lean on a rock or a bit of dirt, they actually protect your vehicle. Either side of the rails, you can see that the flares are different to the Rogue. They're a lot more aggressive, and they've actually been designed that the customer can choose to put bigger tyres on, more aggressive tyres to really fill out the flares. Moving to the inside, I can see there's a lot of changes compared to the Rogue. Now, number one, the steering wheel. It's a different leather design. It's really nice in hand. It's got the red center, but also flappy paddles. Flappy paddles are a yes from me. Now, it's still got the JBL sound system, which sounds great. Just a little tip, crank the bass, it sounds awesome. You've got slightly different inserts through the inside. You've also got the seats. These seats are quite different to the Rogue. They do hug you a lot more. The suede is a nice touch, and also red seat belts. I like it. It's a nice little touch. Jumping into the car, we can actually have a look at whether these engine changes make a difference on the road. Now, Toyota have stated they've recalibrated the engine, they've recalibrated the transmission to give us 10% more torque and 10% more power. So does that actually make a difference on the road? Well, yeah, it does. I drive my Rogue every day, and jumping into this, I can feel the difference. It's a lot more perky. On the highway, it's easier to overtake. I can really feel this car's got a little bit more grunt. Now, press that little special button next to the gear shifter, the power button, and again, changing that acceleration curve makes it feel like you've got even more power. It's a really good car to drive on the road. The suspension changes underneath as well, they're different compared to the Rogue. They've gone with a large diameter monotube shock absorber with more oil to help with heat dissipation and to help with control. And on the road, it does feel really car-like. It's really comfortable, it sits nicely on the road. It's got a great stance to it too with that wider track. Overall, I'm actually really impressed to feel that power. I was a little bit skeptical whether the 10% would actually be noticeable, but jumping into it straight away, I can feel that difference. So there's the Hilux GR Sport and how it is compared to the Rogue. I really do like it. I think the power on the road is noticeable. The interior is really nice. The steering wheel's great. The seats are comfy. I love the aggressive look of it and the thought that's gone into the design process of this vehicle. So why don't you come check it out? Drop into 235 Mulgrave Road and the team would be happy to help. Cheers.